ahead and throw down the commercials because you can hear the commercials overriding my voice, but not no longer. You can hear me. Welcome, everybody. We're going to have some fun with Carla Vaughn on WOW. Taxation is in full effect.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you get your taxes done.
Yep.
And don't do it yourself. Don't try to get yourself, hey, I'm getting $1 million returned. So you know how that happens. You're
Yes.
doing your own taxes.
I have heard more than one story on that.
And then the thing about what we have here today, we're going to talk about the war and how it's going to affect a lot of money. Money is the key to, we say all evil, so I guess we're all evil.
Mm.
Carla, welcome again. It's nice to see you back in the studio. We're ready to go, and we're not really late. You said 1 minute late. We started right on time.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Well, you know, I think this whole thing with Ukraine and Putin and Biden is really pressing on everyone's mind, and it's a huge distraction from everything that you're doing, you know, in your lives, with your families, with your businesses. There's a lot of concern about how this is going to affect our economy and the price of gas and all these things. And I think that is like, it's just one of those things where I was listening to a lady this morning, and she was saying that she heard this thing on the radio where the guy woke up and he went from getting up and going to the store to getting up and being bombed. You know, it's a huge life change. We cannot ignore what's going on in the world. Okay, we want to, but we can't, and especially because in this particular case, there's likely to be a trickle-down effect, and the decisions sometimes that are made for us are out of our control, and that is one of the biggest things that I think we all realize when big world events start happening or starts brewing to happen, because things do affect us that we don't want to affect us, but they affect us. Simple as that. It's just like when you're running your business and you're trying so hard to get in there and get those sales and to do the right thing and provide the right service and product. Things happen, hence COVID. Okay, so you see how that impacted businesses. Same thing can happen and does happen when there's a war going on and legislative changes and governmental changes and what have you. So being inspired, wow, gets a lot harder, all right? It gets to be a lot tougher to say, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to be inspired. I'm going to listen to WowForSmallBusinesses.com today, and I am going to get out there and do my thing and everything. And it gets to be a little bit harder. You know, it's an effort in a nutshell, wouldn't you say, Henry?
I would say so. And I'm not in the screen yet.
Oh,
so.
Okay. Well, never mind. We'll just let him do his thing over here. I'll just rattle on. So anyway, what I'm trying to say today is there's a lot on people's mind. I'm sure just you out there listening, there's a lot on your mind about how this is all going to affect you. And, you know, like I was telling a good friend of mine yesterday, we just have to wait and see. Simple as that, okay? And then we also have to realize that we only have control over so much in our lives. So saying that to say is, as you know this, just like the pandemic, we will get through it, we'll navigate around it, we'll navigate under it, we'll navigate over it, but we will get through it. So I would encourage you all, if anything, more than ever, if you suffer from anxiety and some of that, I mean, we're dealing with taxes this season, and, you know, we're dealing now with potential war. Oh my goodness, what's this going to do to me, my business, da-da-da-da. If anything, I would say go to WowForSmallBusinesses.com. Truly do kind of look to alleviate some of your stress, bring some of that anxiety down so that you are not in a position where this is all you're thinking about and you totally are distracting yourself from your business. That, I think, is probably one of the things that you're going to have to sit there and, you know, if you, again, suffer anxiety and depression and some of those very serious mental and emotional challenges, this is when you do need to be inspired. This is when you do need to be motivated. This is when you need to do some self-care. And some of that self-care also needs to be self-talk. what are you saying about how you're making it through each and every day? You know, are you waking up and saying, oh my God, I got to do this again? Whatever this is for you, okay? Whether it's to work a part-time job and run your business the rest of the time, or run your business and you've got difficult clients, whatever. Is it that? And if that's the case, is it one of those things where you're going to work to wake up every morning throughout the day, pat yourself on the back and say, hey, I'm still here, I'm still trying, I'm doing my best. No matter what, I am going to survive what's going on in my life, going on in the world at these particular times, going through the pandemic, going through perhaps, like a lot of people, grief and problems and strife because loved ones have passed away, you know, things along those lines. So I would invite you, if you're listening today, to give us a call and tell us how you think that you see that the economic times, the political times, are going to impact your particular business and why. So you can give us a call at 720-386-0513 here at the station. And if you would like to weigh in on just sharing your opinion on how do you think what's happening with Russia and Putin and Biden is likely to trickle down and affect you and your business, we would love to hear from you.
Now, I'm glad you did that. I had you all by yourself doing your spiel. I always call it the spiel.
Okay.
There's a guy here, there's two of them that they're in the movies and stuff like that, and they run off of their script and stuff. And I always tell them, you got to put your script away here, because this is a long time ago when they came in here. And he goes, well, how do I do it? I go, just use your spiel. Which you did. It's knowing how to communicate effectively with what you have inside your vocabulary and how to project, and knowing what to say when given the opportunity, like you just did now. You took care of it while I was sharing out to everybody.
I'm glad I could help you out.
You did. You knew what I was doing, so it worked out just great. Now you talk about the other side of the country, how it's going to affect your business, small businesses and stuff like that. Now, here's what I've been noticing and watching. Okay, so if you go back into the past, Chernobyl was a part of this. Now, a lot of people forgot about the big explosion in Chernobyl, nuclear explosion.
That's right.
Now, the other things that were there too, that is neogas, which they use to make chips for computers, for all the phones, for all the stuff. Now, there's the regular type of stuff, which is the oils. Now, I know that Russia is a big, giant exporter of oil. Now, America went away from all the gold as part of the backing of the dollar, and it's oil now. And then through all the banks, you have to deal with America through oil. It's strange. It's like, okay, so is it just a select few that are out there fussing and fighting over all these resources? And then the trickle down coming to the small businesses. This guy, I seen him on TV talking about, I don't know what I'm going to do. All of a sudden, all my stuff that's coming in is triple the price. All my goods that are coming here are coming 2-3 weeks late, and then now the price is 4 times the money. How am I going to make it in my business? Now, you have some suggestions, and you have your website here for how to retool.
Right.
And a lot of the small businesses better start retooling, because here comes the wave of economic fallout. And that's what I see it.
And I mean, this is what happened, has happened because of the pandemic.
Yes.
Is those businesses that survived are the ones that adapted.
Yes.
Okay, it's just like nature. All right. And if you don't adapt to the changes, there will be repercussions. Their repercussions is that you have the potential to go out of business. You're jeopardizing. Yes, it can be very quick. So one thing that I do talk about for WOW, for smallbusinesses.com, words of wisdom for smallbusinesses.com, that I do talk about is streams of income. Okay, if you're going to grow your business, so if you look at some of the webinars and they talk about growing your business and what growth is all about and the struggles for growth, part of that is taking off those blinders to say, look, I'm in the I'm in the ice cream business, okay? And the pandemic shut me down. What else can I do? Well, guess what? You can go online and teach people how to make ice cream. All right? I mean, this is the whole let's take the lemons and make a lemonade routine. The thing is this is what I suggest to a lot of my clients because as you well know, I have an accounting business as well called Business and Financial Management Services, or BFMS, Greenwood Village. One thing I suggest to my clients all the time, if I'm looking at their financials and this look like, okay, this is the third month and you're just struggling, all right, you need to look to divert some of your energy, some of your attention, and only a little bit of your money.
That's right.
To a different stream, to create a different stream of income for you. And sometimes it's so small and so simple. And because technology rules our lives, like politics sometimes,
I like that.
you can get on StreamYard, you can get on YouTube, you can get on Tagged. There's a lot of platforms out there that you can get on and do a little snip of, hey, I'm going to teach you how to make daiquiri spiced ice cream, okay? All you need to do is subscribe to my channel, and when you do, for $4.99, I will send you the recipe, okay?
It's funny you say that. There's a gal who does that for Mexican foods.
Oh,
And she got online
mm-hmm.
and did exactly what you're talking about, and just sells little products to make salsas and how to make Mexican foods. And she has this little online thing going. It's exactly like you said. She got away from the bricks and mortar thing and just went to the
Mm-hmm.
online how to make
Right,
foods.
right. There's you have to. So, my first business back in the '80s. I'm a little bit old. Okay, back in the '80s, my business partner told me at that time. He says, "You got to learn to do one thing, just one." And it was really hard at the time because I was young, and I was just so excited about being in business. My first business, we had a telemarketing business together. I was so excited, and I wanted to do this over here and this over there and this, and it just when everything came back around to the '90s, where I restarted my business and started getting into financial planning and accounting and all like that, I always remembered that advice. He said, just do one thing. But the advice was, I could take that one thing and give an offshoot. It's just like a plant or a tree. Like on some of this stuff, oh, here's some of the green stuff. Okay, grow. Okay, I have what it takes. Okay, of course you have what it takes. So whatever your mainstream is, don't not do it if it's being affected by the pandemic or government regulations or whatever. But think of other things that are related to what you're doing. That can be another stream of income. Again, it's not going to be a lot of effort. It's not going to be a lot of money off of you, but it will create another stream of income that you can navigate the waters and help uplift that mainstream that may be kind of falling down a little financially.
I was going to interject this. This is really interesting. I was watching the news this morning, and they had Facebook up there versus Russia.
Whoa!
I thought, huh? Is Facebook that powerful? They said yes.
Wow.
So Russia, put a huge, I would say, a limit on how much you can use. They blocked everything.
I heard they're freezing accounts and
yes,
the whole
and
bit.
just because they don't want all these fake news stories, all this propagated pictures or whatever. Now, here's one thing that really surprised me. We have a show here on Saturday morning. There was a gentleman in here talking about the past, like the times you and I lived, where there was lots of racism, Martin Luther King times, the Cesar Chavez, the Corky Gonzalez times, all those times. Now I got this thing from Facebook says this is being blocked or being halted because it sways political thoughts and public opinion. It could change elections. I'm like, huh?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about Facebook and the social media in general,
Right.
and about them looking to be more responsible, be responsible in terms of what they're allowing the public to post and
Wouldn't that
share.
be, what's the word?
There's censorship.
Censorship.
It's
Now,
censorship.
now tell me this. Now, let's say you got on there and you're
All right.
talking about Martin Luther King and all that he's done
Mhm.
and the changes he brought about to
Mhm.
the unity of the black people, the unity of
Mhm.
all peoples.
Mhm.
And then they come out and said that to you. You're changing, like, huh?
Yeah, it was almost like the mask thing. It's like,
Yes. I know, that's right. Don't you look at it that way too?
and you're waving your hand. You're like, I've got something to say,
Yeah.
and someone's like,
Yeah, it's,
You know.
and I've always thought that too. I always said this. This is really interesting that we're talking about this. The government said, sit down, everybody, and shut up. Now, put a mask on your face while you're at it, because we don't want to hear a word from you. And there won't be no toilet paper, because you're going to be all shit in your pants. So, we don't
yeah,
care.
it's almost
It's
already
almost
been like
yeah,
that.
it's
You
like
know?
that. It's like, you and I, we've lived this eras that we've already we've been through this. You can't hurt us no more. You can take us down to pennies and say, oh, so you can't hurt me no more.
Well, you know,
been there, done that.
I'm going to give you a different perspective. So I'm a member of Rotary, Aurora Gateway, yay! Okay, Aurora Gateway Rotary, and yesterday the speaker flaked out on us. There were some issues, so the president ran this clip about George Washington and the presidents.
Oh, wow.
And all that stuff, and it was in a story, and that was on there. That was talking about George Washington. So when he finished all these things that George Washington did in his life, and you know what he said? He said, compared to where this country was with George Washington's day and what they had to fight against, it's nothing compared to what we're fighting against
That's
now. Okay, they were at a point where, you know, we were struggling to be a country.
That's right.
Okay, and now I think it's almost as huge of a struggle, especially with this new political situation going on. But it's one of these things now where we're struggling in a different way. I kind of feel like it's the same book, but now we switch covers.
That's right. Here's a good one for you. And I always say this, and if you allow me to, I'm going to say it. It's talking about George Washington when I was young. Okay, so they come and show you George Washington standing there, and you know how he looks. You know how he looked. And he says, "This is the father of your country." And I kept looking and looking, and I says, "Well, that don't look like the father of my country with pedal pushers and high heel shoes and ruffled blouse and powdered wig. It looks like the mother of my country." I got in trouble, got sent to the principal's office.
Oh,
well, doesn't that look like it? Think about it. Hmm?
but see, there you go.
I couldn't relate.
Well, I understand. I mean,
I got in trouble.
I have this thing about saying Pledge of Allegiance. So
Me too.
So it's okay. I get.
So
but we don't want to get too political.
I know
and,
this is
and
fun
stuff
because we
on,
got to talk about this. It
there,
affects
but-
your businesses.
Mhm.
Now, I got sent to the office a second time. They wanted me to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I was looking around. Why do I have to pledge an allegiance to an inanimate object? You go to the office right now. I have to go see Mrs. Kranig. I'll never forget her name.
Oh, I don't remember mine.
Oh, because she always
I had Sister
sit down there.
Eileen.
You're gonna sit there for an hour.
But that was in high school. I remember Sister Eileen Rice. That was her name. But I don't remember grade school. Anyway.
Isn't that cool stuff?
Probably, I'm getting too old. But the whole point being is this: we have a desire and we have a need to speak out. We have a need to, when we are upset or feel passionate. I'm passionate. Okay. When you feel so strongly about sharing something, sharing with your thoughts, sharing your words, sharing your deeds, okay? It's not, to me, I don't even think it's healthy for someone to, don't say it, don't do it, don't do. But at the same time, again, we see things that are happening in the world like now, where we see people's bank accounts are frozen and their phones are tapped, and you know, all this stuff is starting to again show, you know, who has control over who.
That's right.
And then why? follow.
I keep asking,
you
I'm
know?
glad let's elaborate on that one too.
Mhm.
Why? What is the point of it? What do they want to accomplish from fighting and taking over countries and fighting over resources and making us, that's what we are. We're all debt slaves here, and that's how they keep us in control. Putting everybody in some sort of debt condition, whether it be your apartment, whether it be your home, your car,
Good
just,
point.
just
Good
everything.
point.
And then you're trying to start a small business. And once you start a small business, they use all this, I would say, the elections to change laws, to really pound down on small businesses and make it much more harder to do things by creating these laws for small businesses. We're going to charge you this because you did this, and to get a small business, it's now $500 for the,
Right.
it's always
right.
something.
It's something. Right.
To
I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was talking about the same thing, but she was talking about it in relationship to the judicial system.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and how you get in trouble, and they make you take these classes,
Yeah.
and they make you pay for them, and they
And it's
call
their
it,
buddies that
and
have
they
the
call
class.
them, yeah, probably, yeah, and then it's rehabilitation and all like this, and all like that. So it's like, what is that driving force?
Right.
Whether we're talking about trying to be in business, get in business, stay in business, and the forces that are against us, okay, how do we navigate around those? Or are we also talking about the bigger picture, where there's ultimately things that will always control us?
Yes.
And it's a matter of, one, are you even aware of it? And two, how do you navigate around it?
I love that you said being aware. Awareness is key here. Like, you got your educational system, your judicial system, and then you got your financial systems. And all three of those just pound on you. If you really look at it, they pound on you. Why does it cost $30, $40